It looks like I am live. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Tammy, and I'm coming on here because I wanted to read, I think it's chapter 6 of Psychic Perceptions. We've been reading since last week, I think. Yeah, I think I started this one last week. So I've been reading that, and it is so amazing. I absolutely love it. I think I went a little bit ahead because it was just so good and so interesting. And I could see how, if you use some of the tools and tips that he shares, it will impact your life in a major way. So, without further ado, for those of you that don't know me, I am an intuitive healer. I actually do amazing sessions. I also do sister circles. I have a meetup sister circle immersion experience where I do online sister circles, but actually, right now, we're doing an in person sister circle. So, if you are in the Seattle, Washington area and you would like to join us, we will be at Vision Quest Metaphysical Store in Everett on Sunday at, I think, 12 o'clock. So if I could go to the page, yep. So yes, I had gone ahead, y'all, because I couldn't wait, and it was late because like I got up last night from work and I started reading some more because it impacted me so much and it interested me, and so I talked a little bit about it in Sunday service because God had given me this mandate. I call it a mandate because anytime God tells me to do something, to me that feels like a mandate, something that I gotta do. So I did Sunday service yesterday, and I had a blast. It was so much fun. And so we talked a little bit about some of this, but the main topic from yesterday was love, God's love, recognizing and knowing God's love and embodying God's love, and how we can change our world and change the planet if we would just embody God's love. And so that was our topic for yesterday. If you did not get a chance to see it, it is on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So I would love it if you would do that. What I can do is when I'm done, I'll drop that the link to that particular one in the comments on Facebook, and on if you're on YouTube, you can find it because it was yesterday. So it would be probably to the top of the list. So again, without further ado, I'm going to read from Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, Psychic Perceptions. And I think it's interesting when I read through this, the things that he talks about is stuff that really we wouldn't always consider to be psychic, because to be honest, that word gets a lot of play and a lot of negative action, but it shouldn't be that. And Dr. Joseph Murphy is sharing with us that, and he also comes a lot from the Bible as well, which is one of the reasons that I um, fell in love with this particular author, because to be honest, I read The Power of the Subconscious Mind years ago. Um, we were in Amway, and Amway, I don't know if you know, but Amway suggests a lot of positive thinking books. Like we read Norman Vincent Peale's, I think it's The Power of Positive Thinking or something like that. Anyway, we read Norman Vincent Peale, we read Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. They had a lot of different books that they encouraged us to read just to help you to open up your mind to the possibilities that you actually could get rich doing whatever it is that you desire to do. Not only that, but the fact that as you are serving humanity and as you are serving, then, God is going to definitely meet your needs. So, without further ado, Psychic Perception, Dr. Joseph Murphy, Chapter 6, Extrasensory Perception and Healing. One of the most interesting and fascinating faculties of the human mind is that of prevision, or the capacity to visualize a future event before it occurs on the screen of space. During consultation work, while conducting interviews with people in many walks of life, I've been informed of remarkable healings and the saving of loved ones. Hey, Brianna, I've been good. I just was able to see your comment. Thank you for hanging out. Yes, ma'am. It's been amazing. I hope it's been amazing for you. If not, reach out. I am sharing this to my group because that's what you do. All right. Okay. All right. Back at it. Okay. How a mother's prayer saved her son's foot. I interviewed a woman a few weeks ago regarding a domestic problem, and during the consultation, she told me about an interesting and remarkable episode in her prayer life. Her son had phoned her from a Vietnam hospital asking her to pray for him. He told her that his foot was gangrenous and that the surgeon thought he would have to amputate it. But the son had said to the surgeon, "My mother prays for people and they get well." uh, I'm laughing about that because that is exactly what I used to say to people about my grandma. I used to say she prays for people and they get healed. The doctor had encouraged him, saying, "Go ahead, call her." She said to me that she sat still after the phone call mentioned her son's name and affirmed, "My son is known in divine mind. God in the midst of him is healing him now, and I give thanks for the action of God which is taking place now." She quietly affirmed this simple prayer over and over again in a quiet, passive, relaxed manner, and after about 1 hour, she fell asleep. In a dream, she saw her son and he spoke to her, saying, "Mom, I'll keep my foot. It is wonderful." She awakened in the morning with a great sense of peace and tranquility. Subsequent news from her son confirmed her deep conviction in the healing power of God. This mother knew there was no time or space in the mind principle, and that her deep realization of the infinite healing presence would be resurrected in the subconscious of her son thousands of miles away. Her favorite Bible verse, which she used, was, "What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that when ye receive them ye shall have them." Mark 11:24. How a wife's dream of her husband's heart attack helped avert a tragedy. While writing this chapter in between interviews, I find I get a lot of rich material from listening to people who have extraordinary experiences with extrasensory perception and who hesitate to mention their experiences to their closest friends and relatives, lest they be ridiculed or thought of as a little off the beam. This brilliant young wife who came to see me about how she should pray specifically for her young son told me that a few weeks ago she had fallen asleep after lunch on her divan and had had a very disturbing dream. She felt she was seeing her husband driving his car on the way to Las Vegas, and he was clutching his heart while the car was careening out of control. Suddenly, she awoke with a sense of fear and trepidation and with apprehension of disaster. She opened the Bible and read aloud the 91st Psalm, the great Psalm of protection, changing the tense to the present, and prayed for her husband for about half an hour, starting off with, "He dwells in the secret place. He abides under the shadow of the Almighty. His angels watch over my husband to keep him in all thy ways." And other passages, such as, "God is healing him now, and God's love flows through him, making him whole and perfect." Gradually, a sense of peace came over her. Later in the day, she learned that her husband had had a severe heart attack and had lost consciousness. A passing motorist had come upon the car motionless in the middle of the road with the man slouched over the wheel. He investigated and discovered some heart pills in the driver's hand, which obviously he was about to take when the sudden attack immobilized him. The motorist put the tablet in the mouth of the stricken motorist and transported him to the hospital, where he had a remarkable recovery in a very short period of time. The motorist told her that it seemed a miracle how the car had come to a stop, as her husband's foot was not on the brake and he was completely unconscious. This woman's prayer that angels watch over her husband acted in the mind of the passing Good Samaritan, and he proved to be an angel of mercy and compassion. This wife's prayer and deep, abiding conviction in the infinite healing presence which indwells all of us acted on the subconscious of her husband 100 miles away, bringing about an appropriate rescue and a remarkable healing to his damaged heart. She added that cardiac tests revealed what the doctors termed a remarkable recovery. How clairaudience saved a platoon of soldiers. On a plane trip to New York last year, I sat next to an officer who had recently returned from Vietnam, and during our conversation, he informed me of his experience with extrasensory perception about the voice he had heard from nowhere. He and his men were under orders to conduct a reconnaissance in a certain jungle area. As they walked slowly along, he heard his sister's voice say clearly and distinctly, "There's a mine in front of you. Stop, stop, stop." Immediately he issued the order to halt, and they found a landmine secreted a few yards away. Undoubtedly, they would have been mangled or perhaps even killed had they gone ahead. His sister was a nun teaching in a convent in Ireland, and he said that she prayed for him regularly every night and morning, as well as at daily mass, always claiming, "The Lord is my brother's light and his salvation." From the standpoint of geography, this officer knew that his sister was thousands of miles away. Having a degree in psychology, he realized that the voice he had heard was a warning from his own subconscious mind, which sought to protect him and which indubitably had responded forcefully to his sister's prayer. The urges, whisperings, monitions, and intuitions of your subconscious mind are always lifeward. They seek to protect you at all times, as self preserving is the first law of nature. Be sure to listen to that inner prompting, that silent inner knowing of your own soul. In times of great emergency or acute danger, often you will discover that your subconscious mind projects the voice of a person whom you will immediately obey and accept as true. The inner voice which seeks to protect you would, therefore, not be the voice of someone you disliked or distrusted. Extrasensory perception and healing in the Bible. The centurion sent friends to him, saying unto him, "Lord, trouble not thyself, for I am not worthy that thou shouldest enter under my roof. Say in a word, and my servant shall be healed." Luke 7, 6 and 7. Here is a technique of absent treatment or extrasensory healing. You are told how to pray for another or send your word and heal him. When you pray for another or give what is termed a mental and spiritual treatment, you simply correct what you hear and see in your mind, knowing and feeling the other's freedom, wholeness, and peace of mind. Your word in Bible language is your deep, abiding faith and conviction in the response of the infinite healing presence to your belief. This is how you send the word to heal or help the other person. The first thing you do is think of all that you know about God, such as God is boundless love, absolute harmony, infinite life, all powerful, all bliss, the living spirit almighty within me. Realize that there is nothing to change but your thought. Do not use force or mental coercion of any kind. Let go, relax. Realize you are a channel resurrecting the wholeness and harmony of the infinite from the invisible to the visible. When praying for another, affirm quietly, "God is the only presence and power. I claim, feel, and know that the uplifting, healing, and strengthening power of the infinite healing presence is flowing through John or Mary, making him or her whole, relaxed, and perfect. I claim and know that the harmony, beauty, and life of God are now being manifested in you as strength, peace, vitality, beauty, wholeness, and right action. Feel the truth of what you affirm, and as you get a clear realization of this, the sick condition will dissolve in the light of God's love. To test The test of your faith and confidence is a mental state of rest and serenity. Maintain the quiet mind and pray again for the person when you feel guided to do so. Gradually, you will build up a conditioned state of mind, and the day breaks and all the shadows flee. The dying man sat up and began to speak. Recently, I gave a lecture at the beautiful Religious Science Church in Oakland, California, and while there, a man visited me in the hotel for the express purpose of finding out how he and his wife should pray together. During the course of the interview, he spoke along these lines: that he believed in the powers of the subconscious mind and that he had read the book over and over about 15 times. Furthermore, that he had diligently practiced what he had read. His son, who is of the evangelical church and who takes the Bible literally, was very ill, actually in a comatose condition for a few days. Not too much hope was given by his doctors, though they did everything possible for him and were very kind and considerate. One day, as this man prayed for guidance, he visited his son, who didn't seem to recognize him, and lapsed off into a lethargic sleep. The father said out loud to the son's subconscious: "Son, Jesus is right here now, and you see him. Jesus is going to heal you now. He is putting his hands on you now. You feel the touch right now." He repeated these statements several times, slowly, gently, and positively. His son was unconscious when he spoke, and apparently was not aware of his father's presence. After about 10 minutes, the son sat up in bed, opened his eyes, and said, "Hello, Dad. Jesus came and touched me. I know I am healed. He said to me, I say unto thee, arise." His son was discharged 2 days later, completely healed. What happened? This boy's subconscious mind accepted his father's statement that Jesus was there, and his subconscious mind projected the thought form, i.e., this boy's religious concept of Jesus was portrayed to him while he slept, based on the images in his prayer book, paintings, church statuses, etc. This boy blindly believed that Jesus was there in the flesh and that he had placed his hands upon him. His blind belief was registered in his subconscious, and it responded accordingly. You can tell a man in a trance that his grandmother is here now and that he will see her clearly. He will see what he believes to be his grandmother. His subconscious projects the image of his grandmother based on his subconscious memory picture. You can give the same man a post-hypnotic suggestion saying to him, "When you come out of the trance, you will greet your grandmother and talk with her." He does exactly that. This is called a subjective hallucination. The faith kindled in the subconscious of this man's son was the healing factor. It is always done unto us according to our faith or mental conviction. I want to pause there for a minute because I want to say that you see what this says, according to our faith or mental conviction. So what that means to me is that people can pray, and people have prayed and people are praying, but people can pray for you, but if you don't believe it, it won't happen for you. So they can pray, but they meet you where you are, is what basically what this is saying. God will meet you where you are. So if you can't believe it, then you can't have it. But if you can believe it, then you can have it. And the Bible goes on to say that if you believe when you pray, so you should already believe when you pray. So look at your belief before you even pray. Because if you can't believe, then it's a waste of time even to pray. So look at your belief system before you pray. Okay, so the resurrection of the so-called dead. The subconscious is amenable to suggestion even though the subject is unconscious. The deeper mind can receive and act upon the suggestion of the operator. In a sense, you could call such an incident the resurrection of the dead. It is the resurrection of health, faith, confidence, and vitality. A woman refused to consult a doctor of medicine. A woman phoned me from New Orleans saying that she felt very weak and had collapsed 3 times during the week after some slight exertion in her home. I suggested that she consult a doctor at once and get a checkup, and that she pray both for him and for herself, while being continuously aware that God is guiding her and her doctor, and that God in the midst of her is healing her now. She said, I hate doctors, nurses, and pills. My husband insists I go to a doctor, but I believe God can heal me. I explained to her that while being full of hate, she is thereby blocking the healing stream of love and joy, and that she must let the sunshine of God's love enter into her heart. Her mental resistance sets up a resistance to the healing presence, and a short circuit takes place. She was adamant, saying, I'm not going to any doctor. Her husband later told me that that same day she collapsed suddenly and was rushed to the hospital where she died of a coronary thrombosis. Her husband had been begging her to submit to a medical examination. If she had done so, her condition would have been discovered and undoubtedly alleviated. Her life would have been prolonged. Right medical care plus prayer therapy working together would have blessed her in many ways. God indwells the doctor, the dentist, the osteopath, and the chiropractor. Every man is a temple of the living God. Why you should honor the physician. In the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, paragraphs 1 and 2, you read these words: Honor a physician with the honor due unto him, for the uses which ye may have of him. For the Lord hath created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the King. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. And he hath given men skill that he might be honored in his marvelous works. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Then give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. There is a time when in their hands there is good success, for they shall also pray unto the Lord that he would prosper that which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life. These verses are very wise and are saying to you that you demonstrate at your level of belief. If you do not get well by prayer, see a doctor. If you have the conviction of the presence of God where the trouble is, it will disappear. If not, do the next best thing immediately. So you see, you people do it wrong. They go to the doctor first and then they pray. And so he's instructing us, which makes perfect sense, to pray first. Pray first. Pray first and believe what you can. And then if you can't believe that you are going to be healed, then see a doctor. Don't leave the doctors out. If you have the conviction of the presence of God where the trouble is, it will disappear. If not, do the next best thing immediately. If your prayers are successful, health should spring forth speedily. Remember, if you can't grow a tooth or mend a broken bone at once through prayer, better see a dentist for your tooth and a surgeon for your bone. This is common sense and certainly much better than being a cripple for life. Why the atheist had a remarkable healing at a shrine. Healings occur sometimes unheralded at various religious services. Many people have told me that they have had healings at our healing services on Sunday mornings. They add that they did not expect a healing, that they were skeptical, that they were in no state of exaltation, and that they were not even thinking of a healing. From what they say, one would gather that they lacked faith. Therefore, the question arises, how could they receive a healing? The answer is rather simple. All of them, whether atheists or agnostics or believers, are looking for a healing, and their minds are receptive to receive the prayers of the multitude present. Perhaps they are going to a medical doctor, osteopath, or chiropractor for treatment, which is highly indicative that they desire to be healed. Desire is prayer, and God will answer the prayer of an atheist if he believes just as well as that of any religious person, as God, with his law, is no respecter of persons. Desiring a healing causes a receptive attitude of mind, which also causes the idea of perfect health to be resurrected in the subconscious mind. That is what the people present at church or at a shrine are praying for. When the so-called atheists mentioned in this subtitle mingled with a group of people gathered together in prayer at a shrine who were affirming that all those present are healed, made whole, and perfect, he established a definite psychological and spiritual link with all those present. It is thus possible for him to be healed as the healing vibrations emanating from all those dedicated people present impinge on the subconscious mind of the atheist, transforming the negative patterns and making way for the healing power of his subconscious to be resurrected. Collective prayer neutralized the mental poisons of his subconscious mind and made way for the spirit of wholeness and beauty to enter in. Points to remember. Prevision is the capacity of your deeper mind to see a future event before it happens. A mother can pray for a son thousands of miles away, and by dwelling on the thought, God in the midst of him is healing him now. Until her mind is at peace, her conviction of God's healing presence is resurrected in the subconscious of her son. His foot is healed. There is no time and space in the mind principle, and his mother's inner realization is made manifest immediately in the experience of her son. Husbands and wives are subconsciously linked together. It is possible for a wife to perceive an acute illness of her husband in a dream state and through prayer prevent a tragedy. In this case, a wife in a dream state saw her husband have a cardiac attack while driving a car. She turned to prayer and her prayer was answered. An officer on patrol in Vietnam with his platoon heard his sister's voice saying, "There is a mine in front of you, stop." He obeyed instantly and saved the lives of himself and his platoon. When the Bible says he sent his word and healed them, it means you don't have to visit the sick person who may be thousands of miles away. But knowing that time is limitless, spaceless, one and indivisible, one can enter into a deep conviction of God's healing power. Your inner knowing and belief will be felt by the sick person, and a healing will follow. A father realized that the subconscious mind of his son, who was in a comatose condition, was amenable to suggestion. He made powerful suggestions to his son, who was unconscious, by affirming, "Jesus is here. He is touching you now. Jesus is healing you now." The boy saw that the thought form of Jesus is in his unconscious state. Believing it was Jesus, he was healed. His blind belief healed him, as his subconscious will respond whether the object of his belief is true or false. The healing power of the subconscious is the only healing power, regardless of all techniques, processes, rituals, ceremonies, talismans, shrines, or frills. When you are sick and when you pray, if you do not get results immediately, go and see a doctor at once. Many religious fanatics refuse to go to doctors when they are seriously ill. In their superstitious beliefs, they think it wrong to do so. All this is a mild form of insanity. Extremes are always dangerous. After prayer, health should spring forth speedily. If it doesn't, it means you don't have the faith you think you have. Go to a doctor, bless him, and keep on praying for health and harmony. Remember, your longing for faith is not real faith. Real faith is made manifest right here and now. Countless thousands would be alive today if they had consulted a doctor in time instead of resenting medical help and in that way blocking a healing. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, states definitely and categorically, "Give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him, for thou hast need of him." An atheist can get answers to his prayers, for the laws of mind are impersonal. If he is desirous of a healing and is going to a doctor for treatment and visits a healing shrine where people are praying, it is possible for the collective healing consciousness of those praying to penetrate his subconscious, resulting in a healing. All right, so tomorrow I will pick up on chapter 7, Why You Will Live Forever. Why You Will Live Forever. Y'all, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let's see, chapter 7. What did I say the name? Why You Will Live Forever. I like that one. Why You Will Live Forever. All right. So super excited. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I did. I absolutely love this book. I absolutely love this topic. So I will continue on this vein because I love it. And like I said yesterday, I went ahead and I read the 6th chapter because I couldn't wait. It's so interesting to me, and I love to read anyway. So when I find something that is really good, and I get to read it, I absolutely love it. So let me see. Okay. So let me check over here on YouTube. All right. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for joining me. Join me tomorrow and I'll read chapter 7. Make sure that you are checking out my masterclass. It's a healing and activation. I feel called to bring it. The sign up link on Facebook is in the description of the video. On YouTube, you just need to comment and ask me for it, and I can figure out a way to get it to you. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's been a blast. You know what? I can put it in the comments of the video when I'm done on YouTube. Yeah, I can do that. So again, thank you for joining me. It's been a blast. I also do private sessions, healings, as well as an angel intuitive with affirmations reading, which is a reading, and it also will include your affirmations that are pertinent to your reading. Recorded so that you can listen to it on loop, which I love because I have some that I do like that. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about recording my own personal affirmations that I say every morning, because that is amazing. Because when you can listen to it on loop, it's something. Because I listen to Florence Scovel Shinn's The Game of Life on loop. I listen to it at least, I would say, 4 to 5 times a week. Just different parts of it, because it's on it's also on YouTube, so you can go on there and find the audiobook as well. And so I listen to that multiple times on loop, and I can tell, the positive effects that it's had in my life. And so I would advise you that if you find something that resonates with you, a book that you can listen to on loop, if you have Audibles also, which I do have that as well, but I found this one on YouTube, so I decided to listen to it for free. But again, thank you for hanging out with me. It's been a blast. I'll definitely be back on again tomorrow for chapter 7. And if you didn't get to catch my Sunday service, go watch that. It's on YouTube as well. It went somewhere on Facebook. I have no idea where it went. I can't even find it. I don't know. I thought I did it on my page, but apparently I don't know. It went somewhere. So I also did it on YouTube, just like I'm doing this. So if you want to go and find that, go find it. It was yesterday, so it's going to be close to the top. I'm super excited about it. It was amazing. I did a healing at the end of it, and my goal is to do Sunday service every week. Now, this Sunday, it was 11 o'clock Pacific time. Next Sunday is going to have to be 10, because I have I have a sister circle to do at 12 and in person. So I'm going to have to do Sunday service at 10:30. So that's going to work out probably a little bit better for me. But I will definitely let you know how they'll be each week, because I'm going to try to do, I like 11 o'clock, but it just depends on whether I work, because typically Sundays are a work day for me. This past Sunday, I actually had worked second shift, so I didn't have to be to work till 2. So that was perfect. But some Sundays I do day shifts, so I'm kind of kicking it around as far as the times. But however to say, I'm going to be doing them. It was so much fun. I enjoyed it. This one was about God's love. We talked about the love of God, and how if we can just embody and share the love of God, how we can improve this planet and improve this time, and we can stop with all the hatred and all the division and all the stuff, because it looks like every day they try to do something to divide us. You got the planet, what was the thing? The pandemonium, you got that. And then you have now you have the monkeypox, and before that it was the Ebola, and there was all kinds of shit that was going on in the planet that are put here to divide us. And so if we would just have the love of God in our hearts, or the love of the universe, or whatever it is that you want to call him, her, or them. I call him God. But if we would just have that love in our hearts, y'all, we could change the world. We could change the planet. We could change destinies. So go back and check that out. It was amazing, if I do say so myself. And yeah. And so I have a couple of things that are coming up, and I'm going to talk about them as we go. Because I'm excited, getting ready to collaborate with with 2 friends actually, to do shows on our pages. So I'm super excited about that. We'll be talking about that later because I cannot wait. It's just going to be a blast. Um, I've been looking for an opportunity like this, and when this one presented itself, I said yes. And tomorrow I'm going to be interviewed on Luke Bryan Smith's channel on YouTube. I'm super excited about that. Tomorrow, I think at 5 p.m., I think it's going to be streamed to YouTube. I think that's what we're doing. So I'm super excited about that. So if you are around 5 p.m. Pacific time, join us on Luke Bryan Smith's channel. It's called Enchanted. Let me see. I think it's Enchanted. Let me see. I'll tell you in a minute. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. That is it. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. So I will be doing that tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I would love it if you guys would join me. It's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. I always get nervous when I first go online. Even this, you guys look at me and you think that I'm just a pro, but I'm just human, just like everyone else. I get nervous when I come on, but usually for me, once I get on and I get comfortable, I'm good after that. So just so you know, it's not just you. When I get ready to hit the go live button, I already prayed. I already got myself together. So again, thank you for hanging out with me. It's been a blast. I'm going to go now, but I'll be back tomorrow to read chapter 7 and talk a little bit more about the psychic perceptions and about God. So again, thank you for joining me. Love y'all. Bye.